Alright guys, it's your local Garchomp hater, and here we are for a transactions video. I don't think I've ever actually done a transactions video because A, I'm not the kind of person who usually makes transactions, but also I think the few times that I have been like leagues that I didn't record, or if I did, I'm pretty sure I would just like be like, oh yeah, we dropped this thing as well. But yeah, so basically, or also I think it's for maybe because of the fact that I've only ever uploaded one full league, so hee hee, tee hee, but but we're going strong with KoG. But if you did see our last week video, we did suffer an unfortunate loss. There was a lot of luck involved, obviously. There was the para on Dugong, the para on Garchomp, turn 1, shed skin on the freaking Sanaconda. A lot of, like, unlucky bits. I don't think they caused me to lose the game, but I think that was my own playing. But I think definitely we lost, like, 1-0. And we could have even won without those. But we're not here to talk about my week 3 match. We're here to talk about our transactions. This is the current team as is. This is how it stands. It's a good team. I really enjoyed it, but I feel like the thing is, there's two mons that haven't come yet to a game, and the big reason they haven't is just because it feels like they repeat roles that are already so prominent on this team that they kind of fall and they don't do as good as the mons that already do it. So those mons are unfortunately getting cut from the team. Going into who's in the chopping block. First off, Porygon Z. I did say it's 2.1 who haven't came to a game yet, so I'm pretty sure you should already know if you've watched any of our last battles who hasn't come to a game yet. Next up will be Raikou. Those are the only two mons that we are dropping. It does really suck to drop the two of those. Really love Porygon Z. Love it as a mon. Have wanted to use it even since before Gen 8. I wanted to use it because it always looked like it'd be a really fun like low tier special breaker. But the problem was that when it came to, and also I'm a huge Raikou fan. Used it before. I know it's good. I love it. But when it came to that really especially offensive role, Darkrai and Mega Guard kind of filled that already, and it felt really hard to bring those to a game because it always felt like we were so overwhelmed defensively with mons that had very low longevity, which caused really weird picks which would cause really weird plays, really weird team brings, stuff like that. So it became a little difficult. That's why I had to drop those two. And I think the new team we got, I feel much more comfortable with, and I feel like we can really push to turn our season around and make a playoff run if with these new transactions, so new mons that I like. So let's get into who's replacing what. So first off, we got Porygon Z. Who was Porygon Z going into? Well, when it came to this, like I said, defensive longevity was a huge thing on this team. It's something that we just didn't have. Something that can pivot, sponge hits, and have longevity was a huge thing that I needed on this team. Something that I felt would make me feel so much more comfortable with using it. Make me feel much more comfortable with Pokemon like Darkrai and Mega Gardevoir, who are really frail and have trouble getting in, and stuff like Garchomp, which is supposed to be a physical offensively mon, sucking. So, when one Porygon family line goes, the next must come up. Please welcome N95, the Porygon 2, carrying on the nickname from its predecessor, Porygon Z. Both Porygon Z's and Raikou's replacements will carry their nicknames, so Porygon 2 will also be N95. Porygon 2 is like one of my staple mons. Like I always draft this thing. I love it so much. I don't as much I can say about Porygon 2 that hasn't already been said. It's stupidly bulky, really good teleport mon, so great ways to bring in your offensive threats. Like I said, with the Houston that I feel like we had an issue with was kind of bringing in Darkrai and Mega Gardevoir and letting them do stuff, and bringing in Crobat and letting it do stuff. So I feel like this is a really powerful pick. Also, it makes this team more of a me team. I have three of my defensive staples. This is such a me team. I have three of my defensive staples: Porygon 2, Blastoise, and Dhelmise. Three of my defensive staples in the team have, of course, Darkrai, my all-time kill leader. So I think it's really funny that I have It's such a me team now, and I'm really excited to use this thing. Love it. Cause it's Nat Dex, we do still get teleport, so just cannot wait to use this thing. But one thing you might know as well is that Porygon Z is one of our Terra captains, and that will not be passed down to Porygon 2. So who is the Terra captain being passed down to? That will be, Sing About Me, I'm Dying of Thirst, our Blastoise, who will be taking on the Terra captain role from Porygon Z. Terra Blastoise is insane. I mean, Terra Shell Smash, it just could run through things. It gives Blastoise this insane versatility of this really good defensive remover and pivot to also being this insane Shell Smash mon that just having it on your team is more threatening, even if you're not even going to be bringing it. The prep it forces and the amount it forces people to do for it is something that cannot be slept on, something that really cannot be stressed how good it is for the team, something that I absolutely love and cannot wait to use. it's a threat, and threats are what you need on a team, especially a team like mine that's now full of a bunch of threats. I feel like this makes prepping for the team much more difficult now, and it keeps a nice fast pace going to the game of being able to have this defensive mod, but also kind of not having to worry about Blastoise being defensive so much and being allowed to give that role to P2 to give Blastoise shell smash opportunities that I really love and I'm really excited to use. So next up, we of course have our Raikou, which is being dropped. Now, when it came to dropping Raikou, a big reason I picked Raikou in the first place is because I wanted an electric type. I tend to always draft electrics, and I really love my electric types. Um, and I kind of got it for the speed tier in between Garchomp to Darkrai. I felt like it was a speed gap, but the more I looked at it, the more I realized it wasn't the worst speed gap to have. There are a couple things, like I'm pretty sure 120 Mons can outspeed Garchomp, but other than that, I think you're kind of fine because Darkrai is 125, so I was like, I think we're fine without the Raikou. We obviously went for a much lower tier electric, but it's something that fills more the physical breaker role, which brings a lot to our team that we didn't already have, and I feel like just really synergizes the rest of our team. That is going to be you, our Electivire, carrying on the U nickname from Raikou. Electivire is a really underrated electric in my opinion. It hits really hard. It hits really hard physically. I didn't even attack that the physical electric. It fills in that speed tier as well that Porygon Z left out, which I was much more concerned about filling that speed tier up. It's 95 instead of 90, but it fills that under the base 100 speed tier, which I really wanted, which I really felt like I was losing with Porygon Z, so I feel like this is a perfect pick for me. You got Ice Punch for grounds, you got Close Combat, you just have a very strong Mon, you have Volt Switch options still, and it's the kind of thing that I think could still work really hard, put in a lot of work, fight for us, and just do a lot for this team. I'm really excited to use it. Once again, absolutely love Electivire as a Mon, and I think it's going to really fit our team a lot better than Raikou was and have more opportunities in their team. Which I love Raikou. Like I said, I've used it before. I absolutely love this thing, but I just feel like it felt like it repeated too many roles in this team, and Electivire, given that extra physical breaker, I think was really invaluable to the team. But we still have some points left over here. So what are we going to do with leftover points? Well, we needed another Mon to the team. Looking at what I wanted, I had 3 points left, and I was thinking, well, my type chart says fighting weakness is a pretty big thing, and yeah, I realized that. My fighting weakness wasn't the greatest, so I figured, why not just take a low tier fighting resist? And I saw this thing, and I realized, it's time for live Spidops reaction. Spidops is now a part of our team. This is going to be these walls are the Spidops. These walls of Spidops is now our new Weber on the team, or I guess our first Weber. Webs are amazing. I love webs. I think they really provide an extra little hassle for people to deal with in prep. Especially Spidops being honestly a really good Mon, a really funny Mon, and I think it can do a lot for our team. Will it come to a lot of games? Probably not, but I can see it coming to 1 or 2, and just having webs in the background, forcing your opponents to bring even more removal, and just bringing my hazard stack game up even more than it already was, is something that I really am excited to use, and honestly, I just can't wait to see what this thing's going to end up doing for us. I heard Spidops is pretty funny for a low tier Mon, so I'm excited to use it. And yeah, so that's our new team. That's the new team that we're gonna be rocking with. So everybody, say hello to your new good starter Mad fan base team for this KoG season. This is how that new team ends up looking. I'm really loving how it is, and I think there's gonna be a lot. I think it's gonna be a turning point in the season for us. More defense, more options hazard-wise, add more physical breaking. I mean, what more can I really ask for with this team? This is looking to be one of my favorite teams I've ever drafted. Obviously, minus the major terrible Pokemon in the top right called Garchomp. Hate that thing still. But I've also enjoyed it because it's so funny laughing at how bad it is. But this isn't around about how bad Garchomp is. This is just a showing of the team. So yeah, this is our transactions for the season, and this is probably gonna end up being the team we're gonna finish out with. Love it. Feel like it's much more threatening, and there's a lot that this team can do. And I feel like there's just a lot of, like I said, a lot of threats, a lot of defensive pieces, a lot of hazards, a lot of removal, and just tons of threats you got to worry about, and just a really tough team to play around for my opponents. And of course, a team's only as good as its user, so it probably will still won't be very good because, well, it's me. But that's our transaction. So that's gonna be the team for this. This should be effective starting week 4. So our next battle, you will see the new teammates maybe making an appearance. We'll see if they end up showing up or not to that game. But if they do, we'll see the new teammates making an appearance. If not, we'll see them in their first appearance. So that's gonna be all for this. And yeah, bye, I guess.